Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 334, and today we're doing battle with Samira Leona. And so, in our previous video, we went over the Leona Aurelian Soul deck. We are looking to try out some of the new cards, the Stellacorn Thing, the Capture spell from Demacia, and of course playing Aurelian Soul for the Dragonmancer event. But I was thinking to myself, what would happen if we took all the bad cards out of this deck and replace them with good cards, and that gets you into a pretty decent space. We're looking to play Samira today. This has a lot of similarities to the Katarina Leona Sunburn deck from the formats of old, and it's got a lot of real and raw power to it. And so the things I will kind of say about this is the Katarina version of this deck was much more explosive. It had a lot more burn elements to it. As you're looking to play cards like Legion Rearguard, that would get you up to access to 9 1-drops. You're playing the full 3 copies of Nox and Fervor, 3 copies of Decimate, and you had the rallies out of Katarina. So you had a lot more ways to just end the game quickly. But we don't quite see that here. This plays much more like a more elite-style, mid-rangey kind of deck, in that we're trying to just generate a bigger board than the opponent and crush over top of them with the bigger units. But that's not to say that we don't have a lot of really powerful elements, and of course the most powerful element we're going to get access to is Samira. And so the thing I've been really interested in with Samira as far as this deck is concerned, and what I'm kind of thinking about as the formats move on, is everyone at the current moment is playing Flair for the damage thing, right? You have this opportunity on turn 2 to where if you say pass turn 1, bank of mana, turn 2, you play Samira, and then you can quick attack challenge down a unit. That's pretty good and strong, but that's all that we're really seeing in the current iterations of decks right now between the Fizz Samiras and the Pirate Samiras and whatnot. And after that, you're basically just using it for a point of damage. But this deck really kind of flips that mindset on its head. You're really looking to get a lot of really powerful challenges out of the cards that you have in this deck. And so you're able to, say, put Challenger onto a Sun Guardian or put Challenger onto a 3/6 Solari Shield Bearer. It gives you a lot of really powerful options to where on turn 3 and turn 5 or turn 4 and turn 6, you're able to just kind of pick and choose how the combats are going to go and really slam our gigantic units into the opposing weaker ones, line up the combat exactly how we want. And then that strength gets kind of doubled up a little bit as we add in Leona. With Leona having Challenger, her stunning the biggest unit on the opposing side of the board, we really get to take down their big one, get 2 value attacks on some smaller ones, and then send the rest of our small units into combat and push them on through. And so it's a really powerful and really interesting set of interactions that come out of Samira. She plays fantastically with these larger units, and I suspect that we're going to see her used in that way a lot more moving forward. Otherwise, in terms of what's happening with this deck, we're playing 2 copies of Hush out of respect to the Samira Fizz deck. This is the kind of premier way to get in front of elusives. You can't do it at fast speed or slow speed. You have to do it at burst speed, and so Hush lets us punch in through there. Solari Sunforger also paying a little bit of respect to those aggro decks of the format. Otherwise, we've added in Wandering Shepherd. This is a card that plays quite nicely with Samira, as we're able to play Samira on 2, Wandering Shepherd on 3, and then have her protected a little bit depending on the equipment that turns up, perhaps even setting up another strong challenge after that. Otherwise, we are playing cards like Might. Since we don't have access to very good rallies, Samira can rally, but it's tough for her in this deck. Otherwise, the only option is that 8-cost guy. We're looking to play a card like Might just to give us a little punch, give us a little overwhelm value so we can break through the Nora decks of the world. The last thing I want to say before we push in, I have tried 2 separate versions of this deck. One of them using the shot card, whatever that thing is, the 1 mana thing that does damage and then you get it back if you Nexus Strike. Looking to take advantage of it and Pirouette and Dancing Dandy. And I've been kind of okay with it. It feels a little bit more high rolly than this version of the deck. And I just don't think I've been quite happy enough with it. It feels like it's kind of like 1 card short of being really good. And so I've pushed back to this more mid-rangey style version with all the priestesses and the wandering shepherds and the like to push us into the mid-game. I think there is potentially something there. I just wasn't quite happy enough with it. And so that's the deck. That's what we're doing battle with today. Let's go ahead and jump on in See if we can't get some good games in. Okay, we'll see if we can't get that full 8 in today. We've been doing 5 over the past few videos. I haven't been feeling that amazing. Feeling a lot better today. Let's see if we can't get all those games in. So here, reasonable enough start. We will a lot of times find draws to where we don't actually want to play a unit on the first turn. We're going to have these draws to where we say play Samira on 2 and Sun Guardian on turn 3. And in that space, you typically want the mana for a challenger and you won't play the 1-drop. But with the way that this hand is shaping up, coming out against LeBlanc Ashe, I'm pretty certain we're going to lead off with the soldier here. Get our units out and starting on the first turn. Look at that. It's a big damage coming through. Good job, my friend. And we'll see what he does on 2. Like, I'm pretty willing to just pass here. I don't want one of our units getting blown up by a big challenger unit, and our units on this turn aren't that strong anyways. So now we have a nice 2-bank. We can use Samira, we can use the Pale Cascade, and we can look to get a really favorable combat here. Now this is kind of an interesting question in that do we want to try and quick attack challenge the LeBlanc? Well, I was going to send the smaller unit, but now that she's grown, I think we'll go ahead and just let that slide. So let's flare her out of the way. We'll still come in and strike for 5, but not going to get that sweet takedown onto LeBlanc. 1 mana short. But we should be able to handle her pretty reasonably. She can attack next turn. We have like 1,000,000 health, so we don't really care. And then 2 turns from now, we can stun her with Leona, get some more good-looking combats. I think that all sounds good and well.
Victory requires a sharp blade.
Glory Seeker's a little more problematic. That was the one I was expecting to come down on turn 2. Didn't see it, but leaves us in a bit of a spot here. There's no way opponent doesn't attack, so I'm just going to pass. He can take his hook into Samira, that's okay. And then we can come in and refill the board. I don't really want to lose Sun Guardian or lose any of our other cards in this combat.
I am everywhere. I am everyone.
Alright, getting that LeBlanc flip. Let's see how it goes. We'll see how much mana he spends. A lot of this turn comes down to how much mana the opponent spends, whether or not it seems like they're going to hit us with a Harsh Winds or if they're going to hit us with a Flash Freeze of some sort. We'll see. We can get him pretty close to lethal with the Nox and Fervor in hand, but I want to see what he decides to put down first. And the Omen Hawk. Alright, I'm okay with that. Now he's in this spot to where he really needs to be open attacking next turn if he wants to get anything done, because he knows the Leona's going to come in and just drop a stun onto LeBlanc. And so if he wants to get that attack, he has to open. If he needs to add another unit to the board, it really needs to be better than what we're presenting here, and so see how it goes. But the singular attack from LeBlanc isn't that big of a deal, especially if we just put a unit in front and then Nox and Fervor it away. We lose out a little bit that way, right? We can't. Interesting. I was going to say we can't pick up a Daybreak if we do the Nox and Fervor play in the middle, but this feels like a win. Nice Meteor Shower turning up as well. Potentially get a kill on LeBlanc and another unit. Says, uh-oh. I don't know. I don't know if my Omen Hawk was worth it. Here's a big old boy. Sure. You know, I guess that's one way to go at it. that's, that's certainly a thing. So let's just try and keep ourselves from dying here. I don't think we have to worry about LeBlanc too much, right? We're still in the same spot next turn to where we could drop a Sunforger, get the stun onto her, and then still be in a pretty decent position. And so I think we're pretty set there. This could be a little dangerous. Actually putting our Leona in front. Now that I start to think about this a little bit more, I really don't like this this block. You're just kind of like, ooh, I've got barrier. I shouldn't be taking any damage here. But if he's able to play like, what's this thing called? Sigil of Malice or something, then taking down the Leona is going to be an absolute disaster for us. Now here, I'm just going to play the Priestess. I'm looking to mainly just get the stun, and this is going to leave us with mana behind to play a Flair Pale Cascade or double Pale Cascade, whatever we need to do to take the game down. Good stuff. Mark it a W for bust. GG. Right, next battle. Good job, Samira. Way to turn up in the first game. It's always it's always better when the kind of namesake of the deck turns up in the first game. You're able to say, "Oh yeah, that's how that works," right from the get-go, right from the first one. What do we got? Excuse me. Reasonable enough start there. Got a 1 and a 2. Look for some little bit more expensive stuff. Not a bad start. Curious the combos coming together with Samira Master Yi as he puts the Sty and Disciple on the board. Very interesting. I guess you can chain off a bunch of spells with, say, like the Disciple returning to hand being a reasonable way to come in and level up your Samira. I prefer to just do it the old-fashioned way, you know. You just you just play a bunch of cheap units. You don't use any of these spell effects. None of that crazy stuff. Sure. So he gets to prevent a bit of damage. If he wants to make a trade here, trading 4 mana for 1 is a pretty good deal for us. We're starting to get this nice board built up. We can curve into this flip Leona on turn 5, and we have the mana to play a combat trick coming out of here. So it's all coming together pretty nicely.
We will not suffer unbelievers.
They will not escape punishment.
It's interesting seeing this attack come in. I'm going to let it go since we have Leona. We can either get a stun onto this unit, or she'll be flipped when she comes down, so she'll be big enough to do combat with this Mixologist from now. I'm not amped about getting Leona into combat with it, since she doesn't have barrier in this way, right? If we play her when she's already flipped, if she's going to be the 5th Daybreak, she'll come down with barrier, but since it's just our 4th one, she gets the stun but no barrier. I think it's fine to take this thing down, try to get rid of the Disciple. If he has a recall or something for it, that's all completely fine. And then again, we're going to just be able to tempo through this Mixologist. It's not a big deal whatsoever. But we are starting to get to the point. I don't know entirely what this deck is going to be bringing at us, but it is nice to be making open attacks into it, since they tend, there's like the set thing that lets you stun 2 units and things like Concussive Palm that lets you get in front of 2 units. It's nice to be able to open. We're probably not going to do it, but it's where we get a lot of power. Maybe we do end up doing it this turn if we get the pigeon down here and already have our 6 units, but he's probably going to make at least like a Samira hook into Solari Soldier, right?
This should be fun.
Yeah, same thing. Sure. Oh no, our next turn just feels too good to pass up on. Do we even want to add the pigeon? I mean, we have Samira in hand. I'm definitely looking to play the Protector next turn. It does everything. Gets the stun, makes our units gigantic and stuff. It's just whether or not we want to have Samira be one of those units. Let's wait. We're getting to the point to where she can realistically flip. Look at that. That's a good looking board, right? Ooh, that can't feel that good. Not really the spot you're looking to spend, 3 to 5 mana. Just drawing cards. Your board's about to get overwhelmed. Like now, I guess you can end up playing something, the 9-cost dude that just bounces the board. Like I don't know entirely how he works, but there's some big plays that can drop at us that punish us for just adding all the dudes. But not it. So yeah, it's 7 mana. I don't think it's 7 mana. We have to worry about it.
Don't ask for permission or forgiveness.
Here it comes. It can't be that bad, right? What's he got, like 6 mana, 5 mana? Who cares? That's the right take. Dang. So many mixologists, my dude. You mixing it up with the best of them. Alright, so we can flip his Samira. That's a bit on the annoying side of things, but looking good here otherwise. Just go ahead and take her out of combat. We can win some of these interior combats with Pale Cascade if we want, and otherwise we aren't really losing out on too much. Sure.
Don't hold anything back. I want.
Does Momentous Choice actually count as 2 spells for Samira? I know he only got the 1 copy of it here, but I was curious with that, is using Samira with Kayn and having, or Varus, and having access to all of the double spells coming out of the cultist set.
Isn't it thrilling? Style never fades.
Alright, reasonable enough. It's got to have a big turn this turn, right? It's got to. What do we got? Meteor Shower looks good. Get 2 of the units off the board. If he has a deny, it's kind of whatever, right? He doesn't get to add anything to the board if he plays a deny here. I think we're good. Uh-oh. Here comes a hush. I can tell you with some certainty there's a hush that's about to come down. Oh my gosh, he's going big. Is he like just to hook into Ravoon? So brutal if you're trying to hook Ravoon right now. Oh, this game's done, my friend. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh shit, play some more stuff. There you go.
Shaken or stirred.
Alright, so there's the big one. The takedown on Master Yi. I'm not upset about losing Samira here. It's not that big of a deal. We can just follow up with the Crimson Pigeon. The thing would be, do we want to say, like, Nox and Fervor her away now? Probably not. We just want that Mixologist to die. Okay. Easy peasy. So just add the bigger unit instead? Sure.
Shining gifts from the sky.
Alright, ready for battle.
Sunlight lines.
Alright, here's what life's all about, am I right? Sending these units right into the attack space.
Unwavering strength.
That's delightful. What you got for us, friend? Uh-oh, he's playing cards. He's acting like this game's not done. Oh, snap. Gonna have a bunch of stuns. Is Steel Tempest still in the format? I don't think Steel Tempest is still here. We got rid of Yasuo, right? There it is. GG. Mark it a W for bust.
Soul Invictus.
Alright, next battle. See what we can do. Another victory. Another defeat? Who knows? I can almost tell you with 100% certainty it'll be one of those two. I don't know if I've even had a draw in this game. Maybe across all of my games across the entirety of Runeterra, I've had like one draw, but not very common for certain. All right, Karma set. Let's see what happens. Reasonable enough start. I like the Samira into Sun Guardian. Samira's not super safe in this matchup. They tend to play a lot of things like High Note and Mystic Shot, ways to take her down quickly. It's a deck that's trying to do its best to survive against the Fizz deck, and so she's not entirely safe on turn 2, but it's better than nothing, right? I'm not going to mulligan her away just because the opponent might have a removal spell.
I excel at making heads turn and roll.
All right, let's get those combats in. Womp womp. Would have been nice, man. Would have been nice. Alright. The bird's gonna have to do it all on its own. See if he's gonna start dropping 3/3s on us. Yep.
Nothing beats the feeling of stepping into the ring.
Sure is. Sure is, fam. Our dude's a little bigger, though. Not that bad. Now, I'm really looking to play the Wandering Shepherd. I don't think things like... it's like once the Samira comes in, you have to think about it a little bit more. But I think I'm looking to put an equipment onto the Shepherd. We'll take... typically looking for the Overwhelm, but there's a bit of argument for a combat reel. I think we'll stick with the Overwhelm. It's just too important to closing these games down. And then we can still try and hook in and kill the Pit Professional. That makes it a little awkward.
Oh dear.
Alright, well, let's take the kill where we can get it. We can still add the Priestess and Samira on the next turn. That'll actually make our Sun Guardian... Like it's like once I picked the Overwhelm, I was kind of like, ooh, right? We have a little bit of a problem in terms of hooking down this Pit Professional. Since if we wanted to boost the Pigeon, then our Sun Guardian was going to die. But I think this is okay. Losing the equipment kind of sucks, but is what it is. Now we got a fresh Samira out here. No complaints. Probably should have some complaints, right? Opponent's still at a pretty healthy life total. But maybe we can turn things around with the Travelers. We're really looking to we're really looking to hit the big invokes with these things. Something big and with Spell Shield to take down the get in here, Challenger. To take down the opposing
I like a challenge.
big spells. I'm losing it. Let's make sure we take down this guy here on the end, though. Clear out the board. Move along some way, somehow. Rip Samira. Nobody wants to be dealing with that today. But, I mean, I feel like these challenges have really gotten enough work done. I mean, that's a very powerful thing to be spending our mana on. It would have been a lot nicer if we got to pull them off with the Sun Guardian earlier, but I like how that's gone.
I'll make it my business to know the odds.
These shits are annoying. Let's see if we can't start to go big. The Traveler's still pretty good here. We could technically look towards a card like Cosmic Inspiration, but I think I'm just going to go with the Immortal Fire. I don't think decks like this are typically coming at us with like big bounce spells. They're just going to try and make some kind of gigantic turn with Karma and the coin. So I think we should be pretty safe to just get this stuff out here and going. Interesting, just dropping Karma out here. Not what I expected to see. So I'll try to hook Karma in with the Traveler. You know, it would have been nice if we could have hooked the Mixologist with the Traveler, but it kind of is what it is. And then we need to slam the damage in with the Immortal Fire, right? We're getting to this point to where We really need to win the game on our next attack token, right? He's going to make this gigantic karma and finish us off with whatever he's going to, whatever his plans are. He's going to be doing them next turn, and we don't have a way to stop karma here, so we just have to be punching in the damage. Can't be making value plays off of the Immortal Fire. So here it's like I'm leaning towards Ravoon, and then we can play Crimson Pigeon and have the completely full board. We could look towards the Traveler, but we can't play any of the big invokes off of this thing. It's going to just be a turn too slow. All right, counting on you, Mike. You gotta you gotta put some work in here. I don't feel really great about this. I don't feel like this is going to be ultra successful, but gotta give it a shot, you know.
Devotion through battle.
All right, send them in. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? We got the might in hand. Oh Jesus, just a jury rig. That's certainly not going right. And a Hex Obliterator, wow. I mean, I guess we can try to take down the Karma. We're not getting a lethal this turn, so if we can get her off of the board in the middle of combat here, that might count for something. I don't suspect this is successful frequently, and we can call it a day there. Okay, GG. But, you know, that's what you would kind of expect. If they're able to play removal spells on every unit, every turn of the game, then you're going to be struggling a little bit, and so GG. All right, but yeah, that game was kind of one of the places where this deck starts to struggle. Like in the days of past, you could look towards Shunpo and you could look towards Katarina to get your rallies. And when you don't have access to a rally on a turn like that, you basically have a really tough time winning. It goes exactly like that, right? Just where they not necessarily having double jury rig get generated to shut down your attack, but the same kind of idea as to where they just have a bunch of shitty units like Reggie, just throw a bunch of blockers forward, and then they don't have to worry about what you're doing, and then you're able to clear up with that secondary attack with the rally. And maybe there is the space to where we look to just play that 8-cost unit and make him just kind of work as the only thing available. You can like flip Samira, right? As we are playing some of these. Or as I should say, as I was playing the other version of the deck with the precise shots or whatever that thing is called, it was much more viable to flip Samira and get that extra damage in and actually threaten rallies. Is to where we can kind of do it with this deck. It's just fairly hard to do. All right, though. See what happens here. We're definitely playing a spell this round. Like what you tend to see in this space is he's going to put Challenger onto Samira, hook in the Shield Bearer, and the thing that's a little scary with this is if he's able to play the +2 combat trick. And so if Samira is just a 4/4 anyways, then we kind of fail in the middle of this combat. I think it's probably still okay to play a Hush here. We can be a little bit more defensive with the Nox and Fervors later. But if he plays like Warning Shot into +2/+2, then we probably just lose the game, which is a little unfortunate. Losing the game's always a little unfortunate, but it's like, as you'll see in these games, the Samira is what ultimately threatens the kills on you, and so it's nice to take her down when you're able to. It's tempting to go after the Fizz, since he's their big unblockable unit for the most part, but Samira is the one that actually comes in and causes the problems. Now we can start to challenge down some of these little dum-dums. Challenging down the dum-dums. Favorite part of the day. This is fine. Are you blocking today, Fizz? Didn't think so. Nope. Oh shit, we don't have the mana. Oh man, I noped it too fast. I was ready to pop that Shelly right away, and can't do it. Uh-oh. Wonder if he's gonna open on us though. Our Leona isn't capable of getting stuns this turn, so probably not necessary. So we got a warning shot into Elegant Edge. I mean, do we need to get anything else out of this turn outside of just a Hush? Because I do kind of want to flip our Leona. It's just like, as we've got double Nox and Fervor in hand, I'd like to get opponent, get that 1 point of damage in. And so I don't think he can kill us with Shelly, right? We can Hush Fizz and block the Elegant Edge. So I think we can save the Nox and Fervors for next turn. There is the real risk of him just chaining off a bunch of spells, though. He's at least got to play one spell, right? It's just the matter of, is he going to play 3? And if he does play 3, do we even really care? Oh, that's beautiful. I like hushing this fizz. Hushing the fizz at this stage. Let's put Leona in front. She can... It's really unfortunate if she gets killed here, but she's able to soak up quite a bit of damage. If he even gets a +2/+2 combat trick on it and an additional +1/+1, she should still be surviving all of that. Alright, well, we're really close now.
Answer to me.
How about that, friends? How about that? All right, well, we've cleared out his board. That always feels good. I'm curious if we shouldn't have gone for the Nox and Fervors in the middle of combat. He's gonna he's gonna see the triple Nox and Fervor off of his swindle now, but giving him the chance to respond in the middle of combat, probably should have just done it then. But it is nice to go in and clear out the full board. All right, though, GG. Well done, Bust. You got a victory under your belt. Feels good. Oh, right. Taking down the Fizz deck feels good. I don't know if they just don't see the Hushes coming at him or what the deal is, but it's definitely quite strong there. All right. Aatrox Kayn starting to make the comeback. It's interesting that these guys couldn't cut it in the previous format with the nerfs following Worlds, but they're finding their way right back in. It's interesting. I think Kayn is the one I'm actually a little bit more interested in the Aatrox. He does have that bit of that lifesteal component to him, but his ability to challenge and then lifesteal after the fact is pretty big and pretty monstrous. I'm curious if where we would be if Kayn didn't take 4 cultists for the summon now instead of 3. Because I feel like that's the thing that really limits him at this point. But as we play against decks like this, they tend to really kind of like charge up in the mid game, if you will, in terms of dropping a 5-drop or a 6-drop. And so I like to hang back with the Solari Sunhawks, use those to try and stun down the opposing big units with. And then out here we can look to protect our smaller units with the equipment.
A greater power lurks beyond darkness.
Also, I've tried to play Kayn with
Will not be denied.
what's his name? The Jack. It's another one that to where Kayn plays quite well with the strikes, right? Getting strikes with Kayn is always good, so that works with Prize Fight. But then you can also kind of use Prize Fight with things like the Shadowblade Fanatic. So you get your Fanatic out and into combat, and then you Prize Fight something down. You Prize Fight the opposing unit down to 1 health, and then your Quick Attacker does the rest of the work. I thought that was kind of an interesting exercise. It didn't end up having too much success with it, but you know, those are the kind of things you can use to get ahead, is those little incremental advantages.
The power of the immortal sun.
All right, let's see what we can do here. This is unfortunately not a barrier turn for Leona, so she may not be able to pop off as much as we would like. Well, he did just do a little bit of the work for us. We can put the Fix'em 5000 over onto Leona now and let her get a quick attack challenge. I think that's okay. I think we still want to take down this defector, though. Could take down the Shadowblade Fanatic, but if he wants to take the trade, I'm more than happy with this. Just giving up all of his units, it seems like a positive turn for us. What's he even do here? Play Aatrox? It's almost ignorable. So, I mean, do we really want to go for the stun on him? Against the downside with where Leona is at. She's a little bit too small right now, but I think he's ignorable. And we can try and just kill him next turn.
I am the bulwark against darkness.
If we're gonna be real, we might actually just have a lethal on the next turn. We have 2 stuns lined up with the Sunhawk and Leona, and then all of the additional ones will give us the stuns as well. Now we just hit that Sunburst. Not bad. We're going to be short of lethal. He's gained too much Aatrox health, but this is still a pretty strong turn. See if he's got that barrier thing, the cultist barrier. Okay. Yeah, dude, bulwark or whatever. you tell him, Leona. Say, I'll hold up the shield and do the bulwark thing. No striking me down today. That shit's annoying. He shouldn't have a... Well, even if he has a way to pop Leona's barrier, she still has quick attack here, so... I think she'll make it. Alright, let's try that again. But see, this is what I'm talking about. If he has to tap out like 5 mana for Kayn, 6 mana for Aatrox, it's such a monumental portion of his board. It gives us a really good shot to just shut down everything that he's doing. And then on the following turn, we can look to just fill out the board and attack around all this stuff. I'll save the Sunhawk for next round. I think the Solar Flare should be enough to stop Kayn. He can play the weird strike stuff, right? If he has another copy of Kayn in his hand, he can do the Shadow Step. But that's not enough to kill any of our good units. So I'm adding in the warrior. It's just the most stats that we can get. Again, I don't suspect he's going to be able to block next turn. With the 2 stuns from the Sunhawk, 1 stun from the Shield Bearer, but we'll try to limit what he can do. The Might turns up. That's not bad. Not bad. Look at that. Look at that Kayn. What a weak dude. Just hanging out, being the weakest unit on the other side of the board. It's a bummer for you, my friend. Alright, I think that should be enough to do it. We'll see if he continues to add stuff to the board. We can just take another stun if we want. I mean, why not? Why not? I would like all the stuns, please.
Glorious light rains down.
Maybe this one was a little too much. Maybe we shouldn't have added the Shield Bearer. We could still put, like, the Barrier Leona in front of that dude, in front of his lifesteal unit. Right now we're in a spot where, like, we can't play both Hush and Might. I don't think we're going to need to do it too frequently, but... Oh my god, we just throw this away? Pretty close to it. Pretty close. Oh, that was a little sloppy. But we got there at the end of the day. GG. Good job, Bust. It's alright, yeah. I mean, we've got 5 games under our belts. I'm still feeling pretty good. Let's go ahead and kick it up to the full 8. We'll try to get back in the full swing of playing the 8 games. I've lost track of how much time this video has gone to, but I owe you a little bit of time for the past couple days. I think get you an extra dose of that Bust time you need. The thing I wish I could kind of better gauge is how many times we've hit reputation, right? Because that's where I'm feeling like a little odd with this deck, is that we don't have that rally. Like, counting on Samira for a rally is kind of tough to do, and I think as time goes on, we'll find ourselves in a spot to where we might be able to take some of these Sun Forgers out of the deck and look to just have the rallies in the top end, and that's where I feel a little weak right now. But we're up against a sort of mirror match with Leona, Aurelion, Sol. The way I look at these are, it's very important to have access to Leona. So I typically don't hold on to Leona because she's so expensive, but she's so important in these mirror matches that I think it's okay to go ahead and hang on to, so that we don't run the risk of not having her than the opponent having her. Now here, perfect draw with the Shield Bearer. We really want to be getting a challenger attack in this round, and trying to take down the opposing Shield Bearer. Now, it can be a little scary here in the sense that if he's got a Pale Cascade, he can take down our Samira. Like, he's tapped his mana for it to be lined up like that, but I think I'm okay with it even if he does.
No problem.
See if he's got it. He does. Okay. Not that big of a deal. We'll still get a challenger card in hand, and then he doesn't get to add any bigger units to the board, so it's not a gigantic loss. Where are you at, Solari Priestess? Take the Fallen Comet with this one. Give us a way to remove an opposing Leona. Now I'm putting the 3 damage in front of this thing. I'm going to keep it as low as we can. These units we're just going to end up throwing away, but we would like to try and get out in front of the Sun Guardian. And so if he has to hit basically daybreak after daybreak to protect it from our smaller units here.
Glorious light rains down.
Hope you're ready to get challenged by a Solari soldier. Uh-oh. We still feel the same way? I think so. Let's just clear out this board while we can.
Answer to me.
Now, we are starting to run out of daybreaks. It's a little bit unfortunate there, but I think this is fine. We can Fallen Comet. Ooh, he brings in Leona. That's good.
Shine like the sun, you must burn.
Get our Fallen Comet down right away.
Chosen of the sun.
Her light rules the heavens.
Can I get you on board fast enough? There we go. So the Ravoon will come in. Nothing we can do about that. Oh, he doesn't even attack with Ravoon. Interesting. Okay, I'm on board. So Sunhawk's ready. Now we can completely take over the combats now. Both of his units are going to be stunned off of this, but I'm not interested in letting his units just stay up. Ooh, wow, a second Leona.
Light rules the heavens.
Jeez, dude. Must be nice. I'm curious if we can ever just get her with a hush.
Take the shot or lose the chance. Hope they're watching.
All right, we can keep trying to clear it out. He's bringing the hushes as well. Everybody's stealing our technologies. She still gets the strike in, though, so we're going to lose her, but we do get the Flair back in hand. Oh, no, she was hushed. Shit. I guess that makes sense. This is painful. We need something. We got all this utility, and it's not paying off. He's just, we're getting to that point to where he's just going to be like, LOL, it's Aurelian Soul, and just boom us. I think we got to drop the Sunhawks, though. I don't want to be taking the Leona hook for the turn. Now our hand is just kind of booty.
Shining gifts from the sky. Channel our power.
Back, heretic.
Alright. Guess we should have Pale Cascaded before combat. We need to find something to do. At least a dude. I'm not real pleased with how this one is going, though. This is a real pain point. He's just been able to get the big shutdown on us the whole way. The Ravoon locking up the multiple stuns per turn. It's tough.
A sacred guardian fueled by holy light.
There's no way we can win this at this point. This has just been way too much. Alright, we'll give up on this one. GG. That's tough, though. It was interesting back when we were playing. It wasn't so much that you would see Leona Aphelios running, or I'm sorry, you wouldn't see as much Leona Aurelian Soul as much as Leona Aphelios running around back in the previous constructed format, and that was just such a nightmare matchup for the Sunburn deck. It's like you don't see a lot of matchups that are like 80-20 in the opposing favor, but that's just like how good the Aphelios deck was in the kind of sort of mirror match space. It's a real pain point to have to play up against. Right, though, Talia Malphite, I'm not sure what landmarks are even still around. Like it's still tough for me to kind of decipher and understand all of the cards that have been added to the format at this point and removed. And I thought a lot of the landmark stuff just got taken away. There was a lot of Reddit complaining about like leaving Talia but taking away all the landmarks. And so I'm curious as to what we're going to be running up against here. But I think it's fine to give him the ramp landmark. I think Preservarium's still in, but I don't know. The one that surprised me was seeing Spiral Stairs. I know Spiral Stairs is still in the format. That card is just like arguably the worst card ever made. And so it's wild seeing that guy still out and about and hanging around. Maybe that's what we're playing up against here. Denoy bringing out the bringing out the Spiral Stairs. Interesting. Does this deck have ways to even deal damage? Like, why is he putting blocks on our Sun Guardian? That's very strange to me. Unless it's just kind of like the previous game to where we were chipping it down so it could be strong on a future turn.
Don't want to lose them.
So Tally is not flipped. We shouldn't have to worry about that. I'm leaning towards just adding the Ravoon, and then we'll play Leona next turn. We probably want Leona next turn for the stuns, though. Because we're going to have to start combating the big landmark things.
Warriors of the Raharaka, time is now.
We'll follow you to the
Alright,
edge.
not a bad pickup with the soldier. We can spend 6 mana next turn pretty easy.
More hands make quick work.
But I suspect all we're going to be getting here is we'll add Leona, and then we're going to have to might hook in this Talia. I don't think we could just let Talia sit. She's going to flip with one more landmark, and it's gonna be a problem next turn.
May it never leave.
So I'm looking to just use might with Leona, hook in the Talia, kind of call it a day. As it stands, the Sun Guardian attack on this board is okay. I think that's the one we have to go after. How bad is this? I mean, he's got like a literal million mana here. It's not a great spot to be sending mites in. I guess we can hook her and then next turn just look to Nox and Fervor her down. But maybe that's the safe way to go about it. We still have a fair amount of health here. Do we even want to bother at this point? Maybe we don't. Like, if we leave Talia at home, we can hook in the Rock Bear, then the rest of his blocks aren't very good, and we get to attack with Ravoon. Maybe that's the way to do it. We need to be... We need to be getting the attacks in here. We can't just sit around and fuck around forever against a Malphite deck. He's gonna come in and rock slam us and just end the game.
Ruining everything. They're my friends. You're scaring them.
Alright, so I'll hang on to the might. We have an opportunity here, but I think it's okay to wait. Dragon Roost. That wasn't on my radar for the day. Get to see an Envious Vox here in 2027. There's the big guy. So we shouldn't be getting lethal here. We have the double stun for the turn.
My feet are far away because I am tall.
He stuns Leona.
Very, very sweet.
We have Ravoon down, so we can stop most of this. Like, I'm just going to add the Sunforger here, and then we'll see if he plays Unstoppable Force after. If he plays the Unstoppable Force, then we can follow up with the Sunhawk, get the 2 additional stuns. That should be enough to stop him. Right, so he brings in the Unstoppable Force. We're going to take down the Rock Bear. Now he's left with 2 units, and then we can follow up with the Sunhawk, get the double stun, and he just doesn't get to attack this turn. Do we even care at this point? I mean, how much is this? Like, this 10 from Talia?
We will not.
Let's just take the stun. Now it's only 6. And then next turn we can Sunhawk.
Turn the stun.
How about that, fam? How about that? Sure. I don't know. Feels a little scary in this space, but shit, just draw another Sunhawk. I guess if we're getting 4 stuns, then we should be in pretty tip top. We gotta check on this Malphite, see if he's getting those getting those unstoppable forces. You never know if you're up against old Grandpa Roji over here getting getting the Talia Malphite Mastery on. This isn't a deck I play a ton of, and so gotta be a little scared. We got him. GG. The stuns were good enough.
Soul Invictus.
All right, the final battle. Man, feels good getting in the 8 games. I kind of missed it. I feel like 5 wasn't quite enough to leave me satisfied. Oh, your days weren't satisfied, and so it's nice to it's nice to get these extra games in. Oof. See if we can't find some Seraphine player to take 50 minutes, get us up to the 2-hour video. But no, one of the things I was wanting to kind of touch on as we kind of get wrapped up here, and as we were talking about what is the dirty Seraphine player. But no, as we were talking about the Reliant Soul deck in the previous match, is we're about to roll up to the tournament scene. The tournaments are going to start hitting hard and hitting fast, and I'm a little curious as to what's going to happen in the sense of when we branch out into best of 3. If you want to maybe play Leona, and if you play Leona, do you really want to use Samira? Like, is that going to be your best use of Samira? Is trying to use her in the Leona deck or somewhere else? I'm not really sold on the Fizz deck being that good, and so I don't really have too much intentions to play something like that, but you do have to start to think how you want these things to flow and how you want your lineup to look, and I'm curious where we stand in that sense.
We will not suffer.
Now with this, I'm just going to keep getting big board. Like, he shouldn't be able to do that much to us here. Like, they're going to have Make It Rains, and they're going to have the 1 damage AoE, but they're not going to have another way to really punish all of our width. And so I'm looking to just get a bunch of dudes on the board. We're going to add Samira down next turn, but we've also given him just a bunch of options in terms of, hey, where do you want to drop this high note, and which unit do you want a high note that's not Samira? And so we can potentially get a little bit more usage out of her. But she's not, critical to the game plan here. Here comes. Here's what you've been waiting for all game, my dude. Just getting primed and ready for it, locked and loaded. It says, holy shit. Oh my gosh, I thought we didn't have to worry about the AoEs. What do I know? Fucking A. Alright, well, you just sent us right to the business end. Oh my god. Getting a nice 5 for 2. I don't know if we can recover from that one, fam. I thought that it was completely safe with just 1, but 2 is a little much. But we got the big boy crew ready to party now.
Warriors of the Raharaka, time is now.
We'll follow you to the edge of daybreak.
So you want to party? Aw, man, I'm ready to party now. Inspired Light. Holy shit, what a good hit from Seraphine. Alright, we were taking this jack damage anyways. It's not that big of a deal. And looking to get some challenges with Leona on the future turn. I was mainly interested if we are able to just get the shutdown this turn. So she can come down now. She's going to be putting stuns onto Jack. We should be able to handle him fairly easily from this point forward. Like, this opposing deck, it's not going to have, like, vengeances or ways to take down our big units. I have to suspect that if he's going to take down a Ravoon, he's going to have to be like Mystic Shot, High Note. It's going to take, 3 cards to try and get him off of the board. So he should be pretty safe. Now, I guess you do have to worry about things like Hex Obliterator. Maybe that's a card that's in the realm of possibility here, but I think our big units are safe. And then I'm not hooking Jack, we're just going for damage. We've got the Sunhawk in hand. So as we roll around to our next attack token, we should be able to just stun everything they have on board. Should be. Famous last words, am I right? Famous last words. So this is kind of interesting. Like, do we want to ensure that we get a barrier onto Leona?
Anyone seen any sheep around here? I lost my.
That's tough. Like, if he's got the Hex Obliterator, I think that they should probably realistically be able to just kill her if they want to, if they have the Hex Obliterator in hand. So it's fairly safe in that sense. The bar coming in. This feels like a real Hail Mary here. I don't suspect we're just gonna get killed. I don't suspect. It doesn't feel like a thing that's about to happen. So we'll see. Interesting. Why does he hit Leona? Coral creatures. I mean, I guess his attack token's already passed. I was seeing the Longtooth and wondering why he was here. I was like, if you're gonna just attack into the units, why don't you just attack Ravun? All right, he's doing stuff. All right, stuff was done. I don't know, man. I don't know about this deck. It's like when we had to play against the stupid Curious Shellfolk deck. I'm so glad Curious Shellfolk is gone, don't get me wrong, but it was like I still couldn't quite figure out how the deck actually won a game. And I think this deck is in on the Mirai thing, the guy that puts all the powder kegs on the board. But I don't know, man. I'm still not certain how this deck is trying to actually come out and get a win. I think we're okay here, though. We'll add the second bird. We'll play the Twilight Protector last, boost our team, get another stun in. I think this should be enough to call it a day. But I don't know. I don't know what weird shit these people are trying to do. Song spinner, sure thing. Don't gotta worry about jerry rigs this time, right? We're not clearing out the board. You're not getting that free summon.
Behold the sun's holy light.
All right, did we win yet? Did we win yet? Fair question. Fair question. But I do want to get the protector on board. It's a kind of an interesting space here to where doing his fish fight. That's not very kind. All right. Well, I guess we just have to attack then. Not supposed to be doing stuff like playing removal spells. We need to slow your roll here, my dude.
Burn away doubt.
All right, let's see if that's enough. We got 1 damage coming in from Leona. She's got the impact from the Pot of Pain. So we should just need to deal 1 damage somewhere else across the way to get us in that Nox and Fervor range. So if just one of these units gets their way in, we should be okay.
Light, stage, amp. All right, let's jam.
Telstones doesn't do anything here. This is just a flip Seraphine. So we'll see what this nonsense last spell is gonna be. Swindles. I don't think our hand's gonna cut it for you, my dude. All right, GG. Market a W for bust. Good stuff. And so yeah, not a bad set of battles. I had a good amount of fun with that. We could pull it up, talk about it a little bit more. And so it's kind of an interesting space with Leona. I think we had ample opportunities to kind of show what Samira can do. She did get shut down quite a bit today, and that's what you're trying to find spots that you can avoid with this deck as to where we're getting stuck making some of these challenges with Samira into bad boards, and you're really hoping to get to set it up to where you hook their big unit with the Sun Guardian, and then your Samira is able to just kind of attack for free or attack into a couple of 2 health units, and then your opponent has to decide, do I want to play my combat trick in front of the Sun Guardian or do I want to play it in front of Samira? And then if they just don't have it, they get blown out. And so that's what you're really looking to kind of push forward with this strategy, is in the sense that the Samira gives you a lot just from all those little challenger tokens. And I feel like through most of these games, anytime we drew her, we're getting like 2 and 3 tokens, and we're able to just generate a great board from there. But the place where I'm still a little not sold on this style of deck and where we're running into a little bit of problems is that kind of closing space. I've been preaching for years that you have to be able to either overwhelm, elusive, or rally if you want to attack through these boards of just dumb units, and we aren't really doing enough of that here. And with this version of Samira, to where she's not really trying to flip, she's just trying to be an annoying early game unit that provides us with challenger tokens, it's tough to fill in that void, and so I briefly mentioned playing the version with like the bullet shot and some other of these. Pirouette was the card I was really interested in. So you're playing like bullet shot and pirouette and dancing dandy, and that gives us a much more flippable package. And then you have a little bit more of a burn oriented approach when you're shooting with those bullets for like 4 and 5 damage a game, but that style of deck can get the flips and then the rallies out of Samira. But with what we're running here, you can get the flip, but then the rally is pretty challenging to pull off. And so that makes me want to start looking further out towards ways to get rally. Shunpo isn't in the format anymore, and so it's really just that 8-drop guy that you play in the LeBlanc decks. And so I wish we were kind of like, again, keeping better notes of how frequently we hit reputation, so we could play that guy for 6 instead of 8. But I'm pretty confident that that's where the deck is lacking right now. And so I think I'll have to just kind of tweak and tune and move on a little bit with this, and I think we can get something strong and special with it. But that's currently where this deck is lacking, is just having that late game closer, having that big source of overwhelm or that big source of rally to finish off these games. And I do not like Might being my big source of rally, or my big source of overwhelm. It's just too easy to interact with. It sucks if you draw it early. Just a lot can go wrong with Might, and I've never been a gigantic fan of being reliant on it. But otherwise, again, I think the last thing with this, I think here in 2 weeks is maybe it's not this upcoming weekend. It's not like today as this video comes out. It's the following week where the Runeterra Open is from Mastering Runeterra, and then the following week is the Riot Runeterra Open. And so looking to play in both of those events. So that's where we start to think about these things, as to where, I'd like to play Leona. Would I like to branch out into another version of Leona or really stick Samira in there? And that's something I'll have to think on a little bit more. And so that'll probably be in the works here in a little bit. And the last thing I wanted to say with Samira is I've been like really interested in playing her with Diana. Samira and Diana seem like they should be a couple of good friends out here. Just another set of places to get that quick attack challenge. We didn't see it in these games so much, but you do get a lot of really positive interaction out of the Samira Relics and Pale Cascade, and that's what kind of drew me towards Diana. But it feels like too many of the cards kind of got rotated away, and that's not really going to be a thing. But that's another space that I'm kind of interested in looking in as this format evolves. But nonetheless, good set of games. I had fun. Hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way, and you had a good time watching. So this is Bust, and we thank you for being here.